Every negotiation, auction, and strategic standoff operates on a set of mathematical rules. One mathematician specialized in mapping them. His name was John Forbes Nash, Jr. Nash grew up in rural West Virginia, learning from books his parents provided. By the time he enrolled at the Carnegie Institute of Technology in 1945, the young student was already correcting his professor's math. In 1948, he arrived at Princeton University's graduate school. His application carried a recommendation letter from his former professor, containing a single sentence: "This man is a genius." At 20 years old, Nash began applying existing topological theorems to a field of game theory that had previously been limited to simple linear inequalities. At the time, John von Neumann was the towering figure in mathematics. He had effectively co-authored the original foundational text on game theory, but von Neumann's models had a limit. They primarily applied to zero-sum games, where one person's win is exactly equal to another's loss, or scenarios where players perfectly cooperated. Nash observed that the real world is rarely that orderly. Most human interactions are driven by independent, self-interested actors who do not always collaborate. In his doctoral thesis, Nash provided a mathematical proof that even in a non-cooperative environment, an equilibrium point in mixed strategies must exist. By proving this theorem, Nash established a reliable method for predicting outcomes in systems where trust is absent and every participant is out for themselves. To see this in action, look at the classic prisoner's dilemma. Two suspects are interrogated separately. They can either stay silent or betray the other. The grid visualizes the exact payoffs for their independent choices. Because neither knows what the other will do, rational self-interest leads both to betray the other. They reach a Nash equilibrium, a state where neither party can improve their outcome by changing their strategy alone. This concept scaled up to define Cold War nuclear deterrence, providing a mathematical explanation for the standoff of mutually assured destruction. Economists used it to analyze oligopoly pricing, and politicians used it to map out voting coalitions. By his late 20s, Nash's work earned him a tenured position at MIT. He formalized the mechanics of human competition, placing him at a high level of academic achievement. Then, in early 1959, Nash's mental health deteriorated rapidly. While later films focused on visual hallucinations, his reality was different. His paranoid schizophrenia involved profound delusions and the collapse of his rational thinking. He believed a vast conspiracy was targeting him. He became convinced that foreign governments were communicating directly with him through coded messages in the New York Times. He once interrupted a lecture to announce that he was disguised as the Pope on the cover of Life magazine. The consequences were severe. He underwent aggressive insulin coma therapies. His marriage to wife Alicia ended in divorce, and he became estranged from his eldest son. For years, Nash paced the halls of Princeton's mathematics building. Isolated and often mocked by students, he became known as the Phantom of Fine Hall. While Nash remained lost in his illness, his theories were being integrated into the foundations of global science. Evolutionary biologists applied his game theory to understand how animal species develop stable survival strategies when competing for resources. In economics, his principles were used to structure high-stakes telecom spectrum auctions and design complex digital algorithms. His non-cooperative framework had become the shared language connecting biology, finance, and political science. His 27-page discovery had become a standard analytical tool for modern systems, proving its utility across fields he never personally studied. In the 1980s, Nash experienced a gradual remission. He began to consciously identify his paranoid delusions and learned to actively discard them. He eventually returned to academia at Princeton. He and Alicia resumed their relationship and remarried in 2001. In 1994, the Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences awarded Nash the Nobel Prize in Economics, specifically citing the analysis of equilibria he had completed as a graduate student. Nash's life ended in 2015, when he and Alicia were killed in a car crash while returning from receiving a mathematics prize in Norway. His work remains an essential framework for predicting the outcome of conflict, identifying the points where competing interests find their eventual balance.